Go to the one, the only, Mr. Ted Nugent. Hello, Ted.
Greetings. Happy hunting season, Glenn.
How are you, man?
I'm doing so good it's stupid.
You have your new show, Gun Country.
Well, actually, it's an old show. They just decided to film it. We always have a Gun Country here, but Discovery came in and wanted to film it, so we got a wonderful show tonight on the Discovery Channel.
Now, is there anything else you can do to just hack the people off in the administration?
Well,
is there anything?
Glenn, I got to tell you, I think I'm a badass, but you get the Ted Nugent Ass Kicker of the Year award. You, sir, are a courageous and a brave American because you really nail it. You are what an American we the people are supposed to be, the way you spotlight these cockroaches and bravely come out with the exposure of what this administration is doing. I salute you, and we thank you for that.
Have you seen the latest on Libya?
Yeah, I have. I mean, the
it's
whole
crazy.
thing is tragic.
It is.
Criminal.
It is absolutely amazing what's happening. And we can't figure out this morning why the media cares about this one, where they didn't care about Solyndra, they didn't care about Fort Hood, they didn't care about Fast and Furious. Why do they care about this one, do you think?
I'm hoping that just sheer accumulation of criminal behavior and abuse of power and the corruption that has just manifested itself in every aspect of the Obama administration and his gun-running attorney general and the Secretary of State, who not only doesn't provide the security requested by American citizens in dangerous areas, but actually reduces it. I mean, who's producing this? Alfred Hitchcock? This is bizarro world. So I think even some in the media are probably tossing and turning. I know that we have always believed they have no conscience, but I got to believe after all of this offense, after all this criminality, that somebody somewhere in the mainstream media slowly but surely is going, my God, the president and his gang are the enemies of America. I think it's starting to overwhelm them.
What do you think is going to happen with the election? I have a sense that it's going to actually be fairly pretty much a landslide for Romney.
Well, we pray, don't we?
We do. I'm on my knees a lot praying for that.
My knees won't work anymore. I pray so much.
I know.
I used to be on bended knees. Now I'm on shattered knees. The first debate was a resounding battle cry for good over evil, right over wrong, America against an anti-American president. Without his teleprompter and his script writers and smoke and mirrors masters, you could see how helpless and not only is he not a leader, but he's not even a good follower. The president's a bad man. I've said this forever. His policies are intentionally destructive. Mitt Romney is a great man. Mitt Romney has a vision and the track record to bring the greatest quality of life the world has ever known back on track. And I got to tell you, this election in November is about the soul of the last great place, the last best place. So again, the indicators are very positive, but my God, my battle cry every day, Glenn, just like yours and everybody I know, get everybody to register to vote. Do some research. See what this administration is doing. Identify these criminal, treasonous acts.
There's some people.
Let's get these guys out of here.
Some people will say, Ted, that there's no difference between the two. I've heard this. There's no difference.
I see it all the time. I'm aghast.
I know. So what do you say to those people?
I say, my God, there are 4 Supreme Court justices who wrote their name, who signed their names to a statement that they don't believe Americans have a fundamental right to self-defense, not just the right to keep and bear arms. 4 Supreme Court justices declared that Americans have no basic right to self-defense. My brain can't adjust to that insanity. That's bizarre. And that's the kind of Supreme Court Barack Obama is steering this nation towards, and that is a death wish. And that usually at least gets a raised eyebrow, but a lot of people are already brainwashed. A lot of people really are on the receiving end. What Mitt Romney said about the 47%, if you're benefiting from an evil man, you're going to vote for him.
Okay, so don't tell me what you hope or what you pray for. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think because I'm a pragmatist, I know that America has always rallied in the most dangerous times. I really believe that Mitt Romney is going to be our next president. Paul Ryan will be our next vice president. And I pray nightly that happens, but I really believe it will.
Are you? So what you're saying is Michigan will go for Romney?
I spend a lot of time in my beloved birth state of Michigan, Glenn, and I see a turnaround. I see him realizing that the Coleman Young and the Jennifer Grant homes literally destroyed the greatest place in the world. It really was, Glenn. It was magic.
You're from Detroit. Did you see that they now have now have signs up? The police are putting signs up. Enter Detroit at your own risk.
I think I had that sign on my truck back in '68. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's. I took my children. I took some of my kids back. The Amboy Dukes did a 42-year anniversary a number of years ago, and we went back to Detroit where I started performing with my band, the Royal High Boys, in 1958, and then the Lourdes in 1961, and then the Amboy Dukes throughout the 60s and 70s. And it was like Beirut, and I'm sure we've all seen the cross reference between Nagasaki, Hiroshima, and Detroit. Oh, yeah. And how those Japanese cities are beautiful today, and Detroit is worse than those cities were after the bombs were dropped. And while I was showing the kids how beautiful this piece of geography is on this wonderful top walleye and smallmouth bass fishery, the Detroit River, just a pristine example of real conservation upgrade. And there you have these dilapidated buildings where you have plywood against the windows that are still there from the riots of '67. And here was a man on the street at 2 o'clock in the afternoon defecating in downtown Detroit. And I said, there you have it. I couldn't have hired Alfred E. Newman to write a better script showing what has happened to my beloved birth city of Detroit. And it's just tragic. It's heartbreaking.
All right, so tonight what animal are you going to kill?
Well, tonight...
I mean, let's just be.
Somebody said I shoot everything that moves, and I said, you got to be kidding me. I shoot them in their sleep. We don't do a lot of hunting on the Discovery Show, but it's called Ted Nugent's Gun Country, and we do a lot of shooting. Shemaine does a lot of beautiful, what I call the ballistic ballet. She shoots her AR-15 and shoots some targets down.
Can I tell you something? My wife is a great shot, and she never looks better than when she's at the range.
I can't stand it.
Oh, I know.
Don't you like to snuggle them? So now if you get your head down on the stock, honey, and you kind of get them in a little bear hug from the backside, they shoot better. Anyhow, Mrs. Nugent does a lot of that. And my sons display the Nugent marksmanship, and we're trained by the Navy SEALs and the Army Rangers and the greatest heroes that ever walked the earth. I make my first 1,000-yard shot with a Texas LaRue Tactical and some brand-new Ted Nugent ammo. How cool is that? And
so
it's
Ted,
basically a day in the life of the Nugent family and 99.999% of American families who celebrate guns. We do it legally, safely, properly, and it's all good.
All right, so here's the deal. I've never actually been I went pheasant hunting once. I've never actually been hunting before. I want to go hunting with you, but I'd like to go hunting with you with a couple of my also non-hunting, maybe New York friends, and just go hunting. Well, for instance, the guy my daughter just married, he's a great guy, but he's a New York City guy, and I'd like you to take us hunting. I think it would be very, very funny and entertaining for you, but you would have to promise not to kill me and gut me.
Well,
by the end of
I'm Mr. Fix-It. I can fix them New York City boys.
Can you? Because I'm not a New York City boy, but I am a city boy, and I like to go hunting, but I'm so intimidated by the whole thing.
Well, first of all, you have to admit, you know me beyond the rock and roll Motor City Madman stuff, so you know that I'm not always swinging from ropes and attacking people.
No,
I
don't.
When I'm hunting, it is so quiet. You have to be so still. And there's a term that we all reference that you will discover. It's called cleanse the soul. When you get out there, you have to be so vitally aware of your presence and your actions and your surroundings that you will become inebriated, but in a positive way, by the essence of nature that you are now an integral, natural part of. It is soul cleansing, and I would be proud to take you guys.
All right. Ted, best of luck, and we'll see you tonight on the Discovery Channel at 10 o'clock Eastern.
Back at you, Glenn. Godspeed. You're doing God's work. It's why the devil's pissed off.